So much free agency news and nothing from the Fever. Nada. And every hour, a potential player is coming off the board. This time it being Naz Hillman, who is now off the board, signing a 3-year deal with the Atlanta Dream. And by the way, I think on paper, it is going to be very difficult for the Indiana Fever to put out a team that on paper is better than the Atlanta Dream. It just is. It's going to be really, really difficult for the Indiana Fever to put that team together. But if you guys just hope Fever sign anybody, the Fever sign anybody, subscribe. We are trying to hit 58,350 by the end subscribers by the end of the day. And I'm not joking when I say this, lads. I wouldn't even be that bothered if this is what shows up. At this stage, I'll take anything. I'll take anything that isn't their 2025 roster. I'll take any player that wasn't. Like, I'm fully expecting to hear the Indiana Fever have traded their 10th pick for cash considerations. And, I don't know, maybe you throw in Dennis Schroeder. Maybe you throw in Dennis Schroeder in the deal to match salaries or something. But, like, the Aces are probably running it back. I'll talk about that in a video later for 1 year. And my guess is that to afford Jewel Lloyd for 1 year, you have to pay her for 3 years, which is why obviously there's a 1 year deal, like a 1 year deal in, what's her name, Jackie Young. Is that it's probably it's a last dance thing for the Aces, being like, look, we can't afford it all long term. But if you sign 1 year deals, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Chelsea Gray signing a multiple year deal, where instead of her taking a max. My guess is that Jewel Lloyd is probably somebody that might have been offered 800k elsewhere, and they might be able to get her, instead of getting her for 800k on 1 year, they might have been able to get her for a 3 year, 1.5 mil. And then she obviously goes she goes out and wins a title. If you guys don't know, she is one of those like really high end Nike deals. So she probably is making a good bit of money from that. Dearica Hamby has taken LA Sparks out of her bio. I don't think she's on the Fever's radar. Brittany Sykes has signed for a $1.2 million deal, which means Lexi Hull's getting the bag. Probably not from Indiana. But Lexi Hull's probably getting the bag. Marina Mabry signed a 2-year max with the Tempo. So the Tempo are trying to be competitive. And by the way, Brittany Sykes just being relentless. She's the type, and same with, I think this is a backcourt that really fits. Because you've got two players that can shoot you out of games, but also can shoot you into wins. So I think you're going to win enough games from just the two of these, just shooting you into wins. But at the same time, it's we're hearing all this free agency news, and we've got nothing. And then obviously I'm no longer making 2K videos into get notifications from my team stuff. But we're hearing news from every other team, and the only free agency news we've heard from the Fever is from Roberta, who obviously, she's the Storm link, she is the Brazil link, who reported a Brazilian player in Demiris Dantas coming back. And I don't hate Demiris Dantas, but I don't think the Fever gave her a minimum. I don't think the Fever gave her a minimum. You've now got some of the Valkyries beat writers talking about Gabby Williams, who's leaving, potentially being a Valk. And I'm actually really scared that the Indiana Fever on paper are going to have the 7th best roster in the WNBA. And I understand that like their big three, they have the best big three, but you need more in the big three. Like you say, the Aces only had a big three, but I'm like, they had, like, Jewel Lloyd was their 5th best player. Jewel Lloyd's their 5th best player, and like, they had Aja Wilson. And they have Becky Hammond, who, whatever you want to think about Steph White, she's not as good a coach as Becky Hammond. Hey, Becky Hammond, probably, had she stuck to Spurs, would have been the first female NBA head coach. I don't think she would be hired now. This is very different. Like, if she's there with the Spurs and this, all those players were there and she had just stuck beside Pop and Wemby respected her, she'd probably be the head coach for the Spurs right now. But that doesn't really matter. Like, she's that level of coach. But everything we're seeing is just the Liberty are in talks with everyone. The Liberty are in talks with Mo Billings. The Liberty are in talks with Lana Smith. Apparently, the Liberty are in talks with Lexi Hull. And for people being like, oh, she'll take a hometown discount because we're brand to play for the Fever. I'm sorry, being in New York is as important. People are like, oh, the Caitlin Clark effect. Do you really think that if Lexi Hull, like, I mean this, if Lexi Hull makes a decision for herself to go to New York instead of Indiana, or Indiana don't match the New York salary, and she makes that decision herself, that Caitlin Clark would suddenly pull their friendship. No, I don't think it's transactional. Like, I don't think it's a transactional friendship. Like, I hope not, at least. So if she does end up making a decision, like, so be it. So be it. But we're seeing nothing for the Fever. Absolutely nothing. Like, we're 10 hours away from, like, signing period. And it's looking right now like the Fever, because player agents do leak stuff. Player agents absolutely leak stuff. There is nothing for Indiana. Like, even Valkyrie's beat writers are talking about potential players that the Valkyries are looking at. And there's not even a Fever beat writer saying the Fever could be looking at this player or this player. They might legitimately run it back. And by the way, running it back means Caitlin Clark is the only point guard in the roster. Just saying. Running it back means Caitlin's the only point guard in the roster. They can afford to run it back. Like, Ari's not going to take a vet minimum. Like, running it back potentially means Caitlin Clark has to play for $500,000 next year. And if I'm Caitlin Clark, if I'm playing for $500,000, I'm getting as far away from Indiana as possible. If they want me to play for $500,000, fuck that shit. I'm getting out. Just saying. Like, if you're Caitlin Clark, I'd rather play for a franchise, whatever. I don't care. Like, New York, if you go to New York, go to Vegas, go to Valks, go anywhere. They'll buy you a golf membership. Like, if the Indiana Fever are, oh, wow. So she's taking less for the multi-year. Wow. So it's looking like Kelsey, that's not out yet. Again, I don't know how good my sources are, but by the sounds of things, Kelsey Mitchell's the only player signed to 1 year. By the sounds of things, Kelsey Mitchell is the only player signed to 1 year. My source isn't like direct from the Fever. It's a source of a source of a source, but they've never let me down before. But I think the Fever have Kelsey on 1 year. But yeah, obviously nobody's taking the Supermax. It might be just Kelsey, which basically means if you're taking the Supermax, you're running. Actually, Bridget Carlton might be signed to damn Supermax. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. We're hearing nothing. Even we're hearing about the fucking Enrique signing. Anyway, see you guys.